I won't lie to y'all, the winter season absolutely whooped me. I'm just now catching up on stories like Medalists and Vigilantes, and I ended up not making it around to the Darwin incident. There was genuinely so much to watch, as always, but what ended up surprising me the most was that the action anime didn't dominate the season. Sure, we had colossal titans like Jujutsu Kaisen providing as much incredible action as there was discourse, hashtag thank you Goso, on a weekly basis to kick off the culling games. Fate Strange Fake, however, went toe-to-toe, bringing one of my favorite projects with A1 Pictures, reminding everyone why the United States needs to mind their own damn business. Simultaneously though, the other end of the scale with You and I Are Polar Opposites and Ikoku Nikki made a statement. A Barbenheimer setup given the contrast and narratives, but on an emotional level equally captivating, as I could watch Polar Opposites and smile the entire time, and then switch to Asa and Makio's drama as they navigate in a life encompassed by grief. Seriously, either of these could be tossed up for some of the best this year, and don't even get me started on just how hard Jigoku Raku came swinging this year. Season 2 was so good that I might end up making a video on it. Seriously, let me know if you like that, by the way, I'm really considering it. Yet, we are not here to dwell on what has come and gone, and instead, we look forward to the next. Springtime is upon us, and those who absolutely hate the cold can finally wake up not pissed off every day at Mother Nature. To nobody's surprise, we have another colossal season ahead of us, and as quarterly tradition goes, it's my time to share what I believe you should be keeping up with this upcoming season. Of course, please keep in mind that my picks are absolutely subjective and that you should feel free to check out what all will be coming out with the live chart link in the description below and decide what your final picks will be. With that being said, let's start off with some honorable mentions. Firstly, My Hero Academia's More episode will be coming out on May 2nd. Though my video from last year told my story with MHA, the story of Deku in Class 1A will truly come to a close in this final episode. I'm already expecting a very interesting reception, but regardless, we will get to see more of adult Class 1A in action and what lies beyond the days of battle coming off the final season. If you are an anime only for My Hero Academia, this episode will officially complete your journey, so do not overlook this and mark it on your calendars since it comes out a bit deeper into the season. Dr. Stone will also be airing its final portion of the story with Core 3 of Science Future. As a former reader, I'm really happy that a lot of people stuck with the story to the end, and hopefully the final events will manage to stick the landing for people, as we now quite literally can only go up with the best minds rallying to solve the biggest mystery. Once again, another contributor to an era of Shonen Jump will be closing the curtains. Finally, we have Go For It Nakamura. Now admittedly, this one is not in my particular palette of consumption, but I can recognize a good and fun product from a mile away when I see one. The art style kinda reminds me of Ranma in a way, and as much as people obsess over Yuri, you gotta have some sauce at the other end of the spectrum. For the BL fans, this is going to be your hit for the season, and coming off Tommen's B-side, I think this will do you well. Now, on to my actual fresh picks of the season. Classroom of the Elite has returned for season 4, kicking off the second year for our main characters. Not only with a new art style and designs that many say come closer to the novel, but with a whole lot of new faces as well, some of which clearly will be having a bone to pick with Ayana Koji. I know a lot of people are quite set in stone of how they view the series, no thanks to social media's engagement with Ayana Koji as a character, but I do find myself entertained by the way these classes butt heads. I don't think I need to say more here because it's overall more Classroom of the Elite, but I am looking forward to seeing how much more interesting things will get now that D-Class is in between both freshmen and upperclassmen. Wistoria will also be in its second season, and let me say that I understand this show has a pretty clear formula to it, but there's a reason why people reuse formulas over and over, because no matter how much time passes, it always continues to deliver. I enjoy myself with season 1, and my only hope this time is that the production doesn't get pretty tough towards the end of the season. There were some quite noticeable dips here and there, but I enjoy Will and Colette's fight against not only their peers, but against the inhabitants of the fantasy world. Coming from the author of Danmachi, I expect some good peaks on the horizon, and for as long as Yuki Hayashi continues to slam on the OST, you really cannot go wrong with this type of story. One Piece is finally back, and for the first time in a long time, I actually felt the withdrawals coming off of Egghead, which by the way was absolutely nuts. Oda has been full speed ahead with the lore and world building, setting the stage for the inevitable massive final events of the story. I certainly didn't expect Bonnie and Kuma's story to be so powerful, and I especially didn't think to see two Nikas. Animation thrives in this current era of the adaptation, and now we're headed to the land of giants. chance. I really hope that Oda hasn't forgotten to spare some time for Usopp, as this has been a long time coming. One Piece going seasonal was honestly the biggest shock to come from last year, but now it's in what I feel may be the most ideal circumstances yet. I have no doubt that the anime will come back and continue to surpass itself within the episode count we have, and hopefully we get another banger opening song, of which ReZero will certainly have going into its 4th season. I admit I am surprised it didn't take us long to get another season, considering the track record of time between adaptations has well been not so pleasant. Season 3 had a pretty good change of pace, bringing so much of our cast into one central location since the likes of season 1, and then with a lot of action as well against the siege of the Archbishops. I enjoyed it so much that I ended up reading some side stories and came to appreciate characters like Priscilla. This upcoming content seems to be dealing with the damage left behind from the last 2 seasons. Rem is still asleep, and now Julius has become another victim of gluttony as well. Naturally, new faces, and soon I can finally understand the context behind this stupid TikTok meme. Out of all the light novel stories out there, ReZero is currently my favorite, and this season will probably continue to build upon my enjoyment. As a bit of a bonus during the season, I will be once again swinging by fellow content creator Asaratha HS to join him in weekly discussions about the anime with his community. If you'd like to hear me discuss, or if you're a passionate ReZero fan, then make sure to stop on by during the season. Mission Yozakura Family is swinging on back with its 2nd season, the series that has contributed to part of my brand now in Act 2, as Taiyo really gets into the groove with the spy family lifestyle and begins to deal with deeper familial ties. The series may not be super popular in the West, but it has been quite well received in Japan, which gives me confidence that it will receive its full adaptation. I made a pretty heavy video talking about what I liked and didn't like from season 1, and I'm hoping that there are more positives from this 2nd season in comparison. This is a pretty damn good part of the story, especially the finale leading into the final act. It's my hope that the Yoza staff have looked ahead and properly made adjustments before we get there. Taiyo and Mutsumi's biggest obstacle is still a ways off, but if the Fast and the Furious has taught me one thing, it's that family will have both their backs till the end. We have a lot of anticipation around the board, but Witch at Atelier, I believe, is the most anticipated anime this season. One of my favorite reads among the years, and heavily talked about in the manga space from creators like Lines in Motion, comes a take on the fantasy world that is undoubtedly going to reinvigorate your love for magic. This story has a lot to offer, a fresh take on a magic power system, emotional character arcs that produce so much courage and triumph, and just a special heartbeat altogether that has rallied so many people behind it. Given that Studio Bug Films had initially delayed it as well, everyone is eagerly awaiting to see just how much they have managed to turn around the presumed tough circumstances behind the scenes. This is one of those stories where I really cannot afford to see fail being brought to life, and from the latest trailer, I definitely have been given some hope. The most surprising thing was seeing one of my favorite artists, Eve, doing the OP among some really neat cuts and art. If there is a new show I cannot recommend enough to check out, it is 100% this one. I hope to see twice, if not 3 times the amount of love towards it that will even surpass Frieren, but alas, only time will tell for Coco's story in a world of witches. Studio Bones is going right back to their most iconic roots as Daemons of the Shadow Realm by Hiromu Arakawa, aka the author behind the iconic Full Metal Alchemist, will be getting a 2-core back-to-back anime adaptation. There is no better feeling than seeing a partnership made for each other come back for another round years later. Arakawa's name is one that demands attention, as we all know just how well received Full Metal Alchemist was. Whether or not they still have that narrative sauce, however, is an entirely different story, but it's one I think everyone is willing to find out. Arakawa knows how to make one hell of a journey, and coming off of the end of My Hero Academia, this alongside Gachiakuta can easily end up being one of the stories that defines another era for Bones. The trailer looks absolutely fantastic across the board, and no amount of exaggeration can oversell the simple fact that we will be there to see if anime history is about to be made once more. Whatever boss call was made to not screw over JoJo's this time, I'm certainly glad it was made ahead of the Steel Ball Run adaptation, and unlike Stone Ocean, this will be a weekly drop. That's right, no batch dropping this time, and thank God. It's an interesting position the series is in now, given that the universe has essentially been reset, but it also gives rise to a brand new existence of Stan users, and only JoJo's could come up with a perfect way to reintroduce them than with a race around the the world. Like many of JoJo's parts, I have heard good things about this story of Johnny Joestar, and this may be the most fun event for the story yet. I can't even begin to fathom what a world race has in store for us, but again, when has JoJo's ever been predictable? This is one of the early kickoffs as well, with March 19th being the release, so keep an eye out for it this week. Studio Bones seems to have inherited the type of greed they mention in the Bible, as Marriage Toxin is another adaptation with a fully adult cast. This is another series that I have heard mentioned in the same ballpark of Medalist, where it's gold but has yet to take the stage and grab the world by storm, at least before now. I know people who are tired of teen cast are probably gonna tune into this one. An Assassin X swindling marriage story is the type of chaos that'll move the plot faster than Spy X Family, and once again, damn does it look good. Gonna be refreshing to finally be able to thirst without worrying about the FBI agent outside my house, and between this and Arakawa's adaptation, it's safe to say that Bones is not messing around. About time I can finally bring up Studio Wit again, as they're tackling a light novel adaptation of Agents of the Four Seasons' Dance of Spring. This is definitely one of the more unique premises coming out, as there are those who carry the balance of the seasons quite literally known as the Agents. Upon a disappearance many years ago, the Agent of Spring, Hinagiku, has returned to restore balance, but of course, when is Mother Nature ever that simple? With conflict including that of both man and supernatural elements, there has been word that this adaptation is in very good hands. Naturally, they are just rumors, but the trailers do a great job of convincing me so. This is another one I definitely would say should be a must-watch just purely off the fact that it's something new and hopefully will be a long-term story that'll dedicate time to each of the agents. Coming from the studio behind Grand Blue, we have a new comedy with a goofy long title with the klutzy class monitor and the girl with the short skirt. I get it probably sounds eye-roll worthy, but if there is one thing that Don Machi has taught me, it's to never judge a show fully based off the title. This may end up being an acquired taste depending on the execution, but I really dig how the art style sets out to do something refreshing visually. Flexible enough for the humor to insert its charm, and colorful enough to where I know it'll at least be either fun to watch or an absolute gem. Only one way to find out. Coming from the world of Weekly Shonen Jump, Akane Banashi is here at last to remind everyone just how powerful the world of Rakugo can be. Before I took a break from Jump, this was my most enjoyed story from the new batch of series at the time. It digs deep into the soul of storytelling, and the art goes above and beyond to depict how an audience can be taken on a journey through the Rakugo world. Oshinoko has tackled the Japanese entertainment industry, and now this story will shed some light on something that has existed for God knows how long, and what it means to keep a form of art that's flame is waning alive. I'm expecting a lot of love to be put into the performances come the anime, and this is definitely something worth watching, especially if you need a break from all the action. The spirit of competition will definitely satiate that hype. When we talk about early MAPPA works that contributed to the rise, some may think of Yuri on Ice, and others will look back at Dorohedoro, which is also getting a season 2. Now admittedly, I have not seen season 1, which is why I will be binging the entire thing this weekend, but this is one of those series where I know I just need to put some respect on it. I remember vividly the year it came out, and it was everywhere in the anime space, from conversations to content creators. And considering anime fans have a raging hate boner for CGI, the fact that it looks pretty clean here lets me know that there's some good stuff ahead of me. I can't go further than this till I watch it, but for the rest of you out there that have been in the waiting room all these years hoping and coping that MAPPA didn't forget about it, it's about that time to dive back in. It'll be one of the first anime to kick off the season on April 1st. As for my final two picks, the author of You and I Are Polar Opposites, Kocha Agasawa, has hit the jackpot this year with adaptations, and going into spring they will be getting another one of their series adapted. The Ramparts of Ice is dealing with the withdrawn woman lead and the male lead who begins breaking down those barriers. Now I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely freaking love You and I Are Polar Opposites. In terms of a first impression to the author's style, they pass with flying colors for me, and I'm willing to take that faith into this next adaptation as well. Agasawa navigates the complications of both emotional barriers and just life itself within romance quite well. It's quite honest to the point where many of us could probably relate, and while it may not be the exact same show, if you were there for Polar Opposites, you will most likely want to be here for this one as well. Finally, coming from Studio Kafka, who's been in charge of the Ancient Magus Bride for quite some time now, comes a brand new entry with Nippon Son Goku, the Three Nations Legends of the Crimson Sun, a military drama about a man who seeks to reunite Japan, who has been split up into 3 nations due to the conflict of revolution from nuclear war. If that doesn't sound crazy enough, then how about our main character seeking to do so with his words first? Right off the bat, the art style made me think of Golden Kamuy with just how distinct it is in such a time of conflict. Definitely a little bit of uncanniness in there with the designs, but in a great way where you can't say you see it every day. A political drama is a recipe for success. Just look at the 86 and technically Attack on Titan as well. Studio Kafka doesn't have a lot of anime in their catalog, so I'm excited to see what they make of this, and hopefully it gives them a strong boost on the radar, especially with such a massive lineup already. And with that will bring me to the end of my picks. Excluding my honorable mentions, I'm leaving 15 different shows to pick from this season, and even then, I'm sure there are some I'm overlooking. Prediction wise, I'm expecting everything from Bones to be a hit alongside Agents of the Four, Akane, and Son Goku to rein in quite the conversations as well, but with so much to watch, it's gonna be a good time across the board. As always, I invite you all to choose wisely, and let me know what you plan to watch in the comments down below, but for the time being, this shall do it for me. As always, thanks for watching, and let me know what you're feeling looking at the next season. I'm headed to the next script, so be well out there and enjoy the spring anime season.